Thank you for inviting me, Vicky and Mary. I'm delighted to see many faces that I'm familiar with in my role as I was course director of the General Practice Nurse Programme at London South Bank University for a long time. And I'm currently a project manager at, on a secondment with the Queen's Nursing Institute. Can I first of all ask, are there any Queen's nurses here today? Yes! Thank you. So have most of you heard of the Queen's Nursing Institute? Oh, marvellous, that's brilliant, that's good, because I've been around the country, a lot of people just a sea of faces look at me blankly. So that's very good news. So I've been asked to give you an overview of what the Queen's Nursing Institute provides and what we're about, if you can just bear with me with that. So some of you already know the history. So we have just been awarded the Guinness World Book of Records as the longest running nursing charity. For 132 years, isn't that just amazing? And what we're about is promoting best practice, and particularly in community nursing. So, and we're all passionate. We're a group of, there's 17 of us at the QNI, 5 nurses who are just getting out there and promoting what we do. And I just wanted to share with you some of the work we do that involves you as practitioners, how you've informed what we do as well. Okay? So just a bit of history. William Rathbone, that's why I was 1887, he wanted someone to look after his wife at home, and he had a little chat with Florence Nightingale, and the first school of nursing started in Liverpool, and next year will be 200 years of nursing, community nursing, so there's going to be big events next year. And William Rathbone's great-grandson, Bill, is one of our trustees, and he looks just like his great-grandfather. I think Jane was there last night. You saw Bill, didn't you? Yeah. At our inauguration. So I just want to share with you our goals. In terms of policy influence, a lot of work that we do influences policy. A lot of evidence we produce influences policy, and I'll go into that a bit later. Data, in terms of data evidence, we have undertaken lots of surveys, and particularly the first one we did was with general practice nurses in 2014, which was published in 2015, and I'll elaborate on that in a little while. We also have run innovation projects. Has anyone ever undertaken any of our innovation projects with the QNI? So the first one we did was for men's health, and we gained funding from the Burdett Trust, and they fund 10 places. So each year we're funded, usually, to undertake projects. So men's health, last year was homeless health, and general practice nurses. Whose phone went off then? £20 fine. We're watching you, you're on camera. With the homeless health, one of our general practice nurses actually applied for further funding for her project and secured $250,000 to continue that. So we are encouraging, it seems to be we focus on general district nursing, but general practice nurses, we're trying to get you on board, and it's about not being scared to get out there and have a voice. And this year our focus is on frailty, which is a hot topic obviously at the moment. We also run leadership programs, particularly for Queen's nurses. So we run Aspiring Leaders program, and we also run an Executive Leaders program as well. So those have gone very well. But there are lots of leadership programs going on, as you heard earlier, that Jane alluded to. So just get yourselves out there and get a voice, because it actually makes such a difference if you undertake a leadership program. It gives you that strength and that confidence to take forward your ideas. We obviously, have you all heard about our standards that we've written, the general practice nurse standards that were published in 2017. Prior to that, district nursing and also community children's nursing. And I've just forwarded to NHS England the draft of the standards for nurses new to general practice nursing. That was my little job. And that's taken me a year, a painful year. And I've gone very grey, but it's okay. So they hopefully will be published very soon, so look out for those. And they're our standards, they're voluntary standards. They're there to support future programmes, etc. We don't, you know, the NMC endorse them, but they're not regulated. They're there as a guide for future programmes. We also support nurses. We offer grants, education grants for nurses. Those nurses who are experiencing hardship, particularly with the flooding at the moment in the northeast and the north, we've offered money towards that. So you know, get people to apply. You have to be working in the community to be able to apply for that funding. So it is there, so please use it. Jo Morby is my colleague who deals with that. We also run a Keeping in Touch project. And that's where we befriend retired nurses, because we've found that a lot of nurses, especially, we work so hard, and then a lot of people retire, and you sort of lose that momentum of your social side, your work, because a lot of our work, we socialise with our work colleagues afterwards, and that sort of goes away after a while, and there are a lot of people living in isolation. So I've adopted Wendy, who's a health visitor, and I visit her, no, I don't visit her, I contact her for an hour a week. That's all that's required of me. And we get given phones to ring her, excuse me, and we talk about life, we talk about the ups and downs, but we always come back to nursing. And she really appreciates that call. Although she does have a bit of a social life, she just likes to have that connection, and that's something as Queen's Nurses we offer. So there's quite a few of us. We just had a celebration on Saturday, and there's about 38 of us. No, 42. So it was quite good. But it's good for us connecting with those people and not forgetting their contribution. Okay. So in terms of Queen's Nurses, in London, or Greater London, there are 137 Queen's Nurses. So we're a great network of people that, so in London we have a big London meeting, network meeting, and we share experiences, and there are a lot of general practice nurses who are now Queen's Nurses who contribute to those meetings. But it's about sharing between you, it's about ironing out issues that are happening in practice. So it's a great forum. So please apply to be a Queen's Nurse. That will, you have to be in practice for community nursing for 5 years to do that. So the 10-point plan. I was really pleased when Jane alluded to it again, because I've been to conferences around the country and I've had a sea of faces looking and thinking, what on earth are you talking about? So I'm very pleased to hear that you all know where we're at. So in terms of the Queen's Nursing Institute and the 10-point plan, I just wanted to give you an overview of what we are doing. So do many of you know Carol Webley-Brown? She's our super-duper GPN nurse. And she's the face of general practice nursing, as is Debbie Brown. And as I said earlier, we undertook the very first general practice nurse survey in 2014, and we had 3,400 responses, which was amazing. And from that, 34%, it was identified 34% of general practice nurses would be retiring by 2020, which is next year. Pardon? 2 weeks. Yes, all right, don't depress anyone. So that information actually fed into the development of the 10-point plan. So do you see how important your voice is? I'm here to talk about you having a voice. You are making a difference already. You know, if we hadn't have undertaken that survey, we wouldn't have that knowledge, and we wouldn't be able to set a plan to address that knowledge, that issue, okay? So you are crucial in this. We also informed the 10-point plan as well from that information from that survey. Okay, as I said to you earlier, we talked about the 3 innovation projects. What I want to say at this point is that you all have good ideas in practice every day. You think of an idea, but we don't follow it through. We're very bad as nurses to follow it through. We leave it to someone else. And we watch other people take it forward, and you think, well, actually, do you know what? I could have done that. Yeah, you could have done it, but you didn't do it. So this is about making that today. This is a fantastic forum for you to make a difference and start to take that forward thinking. You know, you are the future of nursing, so take forward your ideas. Jot them down as they come into your heads. I always have a notebook by my bed, but I sleep. I don't write in it. But just we all have really, really good ideas, and we just leave it because of the work. I know we're all really, really busy, but actually, what you've got is sound, ground, information in your heads that you can share. You're in touch with the patients. You know what needs to change. So take that forward, okay? Don't leave it to someone else and they get the award. Okay, as I said to you, the standards that we're producing, or we've produced already, and the other ones, you'll see another slide there, hopefully soon, about the nurses new to general practice standards. Okay, are you all familiar with the induction template? Yeah? Has anyone, do you find that useful for those of you who are new to general practice? Ooh. No comment. Okay, well that was we were commissioned by NHS England to produce the induction template for you, and it serves as a guide for general practitioners, for practice managers, and for you as a practitioner, so that you have an understanding of the expectations of you in your role, which previously weren't there, and it was very sporadic, the information and induction process. A lot of people, we've had people where they've had an orientation for a day, an induction for 2 days, and off you go. So it's very, very varied across the country, unfortunately. It would be nice to have some standardisation, but the hope is that this will take that forward. Okay, this is some of the work that also that we're undertaking, and I'm hoping to I've talked about the induction template. Are you all familiar with the transition to community nursing resource? So can I just say that the Queen's Nursing Institute website is completely free. It's accessible to anybody, and all our resources are free for you to use and download. And we have had a transition to general practice nursing for many years now, and we are going to be reviewing it. But it's there particularly for general practice nursing. It gives very, very clear guidelines what the expectations are of your role. So please use that, please access that. As I've talked about the standards already, the other thing that part of my role on Secondment is to facilitate the Association of General Practice Nurse Educators. And for the first time last year, we brought together all the programme leads, academic programme leads for general practice nursing. That has never happened. Can you believe that in the whole of England? So as a district nurse, I belong to the Association of District Nurse Educators. So based on that format, we've produced our own, and Kat and Marie Hill here are members of that. And that's about us sharing how we're going to take general practice nurse programmes forward in the future, because otherwise if we all work in silos, you're all going to get different experiences. So the idea is to start standardising in a more functional way. We meet twice a year, so we're meeting again in January in Northumbria University. A new award we have at the Q&I, we have awards. We're funded for particular awards. We have the Dora Violence for health visiting. We had the Good Eve Docker for district nursing, and now we've just been given some money to provide an award for the Ellen Mary Award for general practice nurse students who have undertaken a specialist practice qualification. So there's £100 in it for you. So if you are a student here at the moment, you're undertaking a specialist practice qualification, ask your tutor to put you forward. Now, the big thing that I'm running at the moment is I've been commissioned to develop the General Practice Nurse Education Network. Has anyone actually gone on to this? It's a website for you practitioners. Has anyone accessed it? So it's very difficult to find you, to let you know what's happening in terms of this. So I go around the country to all the regional delivery boards and hoping that that is disseminated down to you guys. But this is a website that I'm hoping will support you in practice, and in theory it should be 3 clicks to get to where you need to go. I've got A to Z of clinical resources. I don't know if we can click on the link. Yeah. No. Okay. So no. So if possible, please have a go on there. And if you make any comments, please feel free to make comments. So I've got general practice nurse. It's particularly for general practice nurses. It's an open access website. But we've had lots of blogs come through. Nurses want to contribute and share their knowledge and their experience. And this is for you. So if you have any comments about the website, please just write your comments or come straight to me. Yes, this is for you. And I'm just praying that the money runs out in April, that I'm trying to persuade them to continue it. Otherwise it becomes a white elephant. So the more you come to me and talk about it, the more you use it, the more I can justify its existence, and it's for you in practice. Okay. Has anyone else used it? Nora, did you find it?
Registered and got in and...
You don't need to register. Don't need to register.
Through the Q&I itself.
Oh, you don't need to go onto the Q&I. If you just go straight into that is the direct link. You can go straight into it. It's free. You don't have to sign up or anything. You can just use the resources there. Please bear with me. I underestimated how long it would take to develop a website. Hadn't got a clue. Just learning. Okay, spending a lot of time with a website designer, and I don't know what he's talking about. But I have my vision. He has his vision. He wants it all da-da-da-da. I know I'm thinking what you need. So please, please, please come back to me. I'd really appreciate. Good or bad, it doesn't matter, all right? Constructive. We'll call it constructive criticism. Okay. And I have a very short film for you. This is about getting you to think about your voice. So the Queen's Nursing Institute worked very hard with Suzanne Gordon, who's a health nurse journalist over in San Francisco. And she came over to England and thought, us nurses over here, we just don't shout about what we do enough. We don't. So when people ask you what your occupation is, I'm just a nurse. And what do? Well, I do dressings, and I do this, and I do smears. I hate that term, by the way, smears. But, you know, we do this. We do not shout about the whole raft of what we do as a nurse. We do so much more, but no one else sees that. They don't see what you're thinking when you're assessing someone. They don't see it. And we need to vocalise that, because you need to get on the map, so that when the PCNs of the future are led by nurses. Okay, so we have a short film.
Today's event is Silence to Voice. It's a workshop and it's being held in London. We've been working with Suzanne Gordon over the last year, and today we have 15 nurses, Queen's nurses, coming together to learn how to articulate their value and to raise their voice as a nursing profession. We know that nurses are expert at doing their work. What they're not so expert at is being able to tell the public what they do and why they're doing it and what their value is as a nurse.
I think sometimes we don't have a voice and we don't actually showcase the actual work we do.
We need to not be the small nurses that do as we're told, to actually champion all the successes, the professional skills that we can bring.
We need to really tell some positive stories about what we're doing.
As nurses, we tend to downplay what we do and we don't talk about the complexity of our role.
I think we need to market ourselves better, and Silence to Voice is to me, an opportunity to do that.
My ambition for this workshop is to help nurses articulate their work to their patients, to their managers, to the National Health Service, to the public. People are trying to cut nursing positions to replace nurses with generic care workers. And if you don't explain the expertise and the experience and the skills and the knowledge that nurses have, why will anybody provide the resources to fund nursing? They won't, and that's what we're seeing all over the world. So I would encourage you to not discuss how passionate you are, right? Because it's not about your passion, it's about your knowledge.
So what's really stuck in my mind today is when Suzanne actually says don't devalue the tasks, because it's very easy to sort of think of tasks as being a tick box, but actually it is what we do on a day-to-day basis, and those tasks together make up a very complex interaction with patients or clients.
What is ordinary to us and is just the day-to-day job is actually quite extraordinary for other people who don't know what we do. So we need to actually get that over and articulate it better.
Giving examples of what we do rather than just talking about how we do it.
Not to devalue how important community nursing is and how to sell that. That's what I've really learned, of really how to tweak the words to celebrate what we do.
It's been a brilliant day. We've had lots of energy in the room and some fantastic learning around how to tell your story. And we've heard lots of wonderful stories by the nurses, learning to be able to be really articulate about what they do and to use the language that the public understand.
We are soliciting stories at the Queen's Nursing Institute. The importance of these stories is that they illustrate the power, knowledge, skill, intelligence embedded in nursing work. It's been a great day. Every time I do a workshop, I learn something new about nursing.
Fantastic, absolutely fantastic, brilliant opportunity, really, really good.
I'm going to go away and be more confident and being able to share what I've learned today with my other colleagues.
This workshop has been empowering, motivating, and has given me back my critical eye.
Absolutely fantastic. So far, I just love it.
Fantastic to be part of these discussions.
I've learned so much about how to be strong in my voice and how to celebrate nursing. It's really important that we do this.
How was that? But the problem is, and I was discussing earlier, that the worry is you'll be all enthused today and then you'll go back to your everyday. So I want you to make me a promise today that you're going to take something forward tomorrow. Yeah? Please. Because you are the future of nursing and we need to get out there. We need to be sharing what we do and be taken seriously. Yeah? Okay? Otherwise we wouldn't be in this position now, fighting. All right? Okay, so I'd just like to end on a few reminders for you to articulate who you are and what you do. So when someone says, what do you do? So as a district nurse, I still hear people say, oh, you're the bath nurse. Do you know what? Do you know what? Kills me not to, but anyway, but we don't articulate. We hide under a bushel. So get out there and tell them what you do. Don't just say, I do dressings or whatever. Be more articulate about what you do. Articulate your contribution. What difference do you make? As general practice nurses, you see whole generations, don't you? You see grandma right down to baby, yeah? So you see great-grandma now, because we're living longer, and great-great-grandmother. So you need to articulate that and tell them what you do and what a difference you make, because whatever information you've given to that first person, that information passes down the family, doesn't it? And you are absolutely so key to future healthcare, all right? Okay, be proactive. So you've all made a promise today to make a difference tomorrow. You'll be held to that, you're on film. Be innovative. As I said to you, write down your ideas, keep a notebook by it and just write them down. You may not take them forward at that time, but write them down and have discussions in your forums. And don't be afraid to take your ideas forward and get someone else on board, because numbers speak volumes. Publish and contribute to forums. How many of you have published? A few of you have published. So come on, you've got that wealth of knowledge, get it out there. So for a start, you could write a blog for the General Practice Nurse Education Network. I'll hold you to that as well. Okay, work collaboratively, work with everyone, work within your MDT, work with the people that you have to meet with, you know, the different disciplines, work together. Support each other. We forget about each other. We are diabolical at looking after each other as nurses. Absolutely appalling. So we need to improve on that. Seize opportunities. If you know there's a meeting going on in the practice, get in there. Knock on the door. Can I come in? Don't be afraid. Get in there. I'm not afraid. I don't care. I'll just go. But the thing is, you're missing out on information. And speak up. Okay, can I leave you with one last thing that I'm just going to read to you? Okay? Hopefully it will resonate a little bit. So when I asked you earlier, what you say is, I'm just a nurse, don't you? Okay, so we have these posters for sale. £5. And I get everyone to have one in their practice. So, yeah, or in your room. I am a nurse. I make the difference between life and death. I have the educated eyes that prevent medical errors, injuries and other catastrophes. I'm a researcher who helps nurses and doctors give better, safer and more effective care. I work in a fast-paced community team managing and monitoring patients who are receiving cutting-edge treatment and evidence-based care. I'm a nurse. I educate patients and families about how to maintain their health. I make the difference between a person staying in their own home or being admitted to hospital. I make sure that children and young people stay healthy so they can learn in school. I make the difference between dying in agony and dying in comfort and with dignity. I'm central to providing the real bottom line in healthcare. Don't you want to be a nurse too? Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.